Give us a little more on Torts being relieved of his dues. I know these guys have talked about it a bunch the last couple of days, but there's been sort of a new layer to that today where it sounded like he and Cam York got into an incredibly heated dispute to the point where I think the team's going to discipline York, but couldn't their last game because you're not allowed to play shorthanded by a certain number.
Well, they had to dress him, and he sat on the bench and never played a shift.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that? Like,
it's a Rob Ray move. He did that a lot.
It's so old school. Like,
like 17 games without a shift. It's
really?
Oh, yeah.
That many?
So, yeah, I mean, what I was told, and I saw Kevin Kurz from The Athletic, was very specific and said that there was some sort of verbal altercation between Cam York and John Tortorella. So automatically I'm like, well, I better dig a little deeper. Like, no one put hands on anyone here, did they? And of course not. That didn't happen. But what I was told was that, and I think Kurz used this same line, and I was told the same thing, so maybe we have the same source, that lines were crossed here. And, it wasn't just the comments from Tortorella on Tuesday after the loss to the Leafs, but I mean, he basically said, I'm not a coach to coach this type of team in this type of scenario at this point of the season. It was a public acknowledgement that I think I'm going to get fired. And then you go into Wednesday, and I think that's where the exchange between York and Tortorella happened. And all I was told was that management just had no choice at that point. They had to step in, and they had to say, Torts, you're done. Because as of trade deadline, they still felt like they were going to get to the offseason, and then they were going to have a conversation with John Tortorella about what he wanted to do. Because you remember when Briere and Jones came on board, Torts, all that, and they acknowledged that Torts had a chair at the management table, which is a bit weird. Lots of coaches in the NHL have heavy influence, but the thinking was that when he was done coaching, maybe he would morph into management in some capacity. Well, that's not happening now. He's been kicked to the curb in a big way. So it got pretty salty on Wednesday in Philadelphia, no doubt about that.
So where are you at on him? He's got 1 year left at $4 million. We often see the coaches take that year, take the money, get some vitamin D, as Rhett would recommend, and then return to. Is he still a guy that you would put in that top class of coaches? That is it like this is one too many? Like when Bob Hartley left here, you knew that was it, and next thing you know, it's the K and it's Latvia. But then the other side, I saw someone online saying this is the perfect guy for the Rangers right now.
Yeah. Well,
like veterans. Yeah, I could see that.
Chris Kreider's like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'll make it miserable, but we'll play well. Like the problem with Torts is this was a young team. It never worked for me.
Like, is he to that point? Is he still a guy that maybe a team? Well, we weren't thinking of. We were maybe going to go into next year with this coach and see how it starts, but maybe we'll make a change this offseason and bring in Torts.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, the New York Rangers are the only team that right now makes sense, and the reason I feel like that is no disrespect to Peter Laviolette. It's because I know James Dolan, the owner of the New York Rangers, loves John Tortorella. And that owner has a ton of clout. So, let's see what happens. If they miss the playoffs in New York, all bets are off. I mean, maybe Chris Drury has some sort of vote of confidence that he's coming back as general manager, but I can't be sure of that. I don't know that to be certain. What I do know is that, again, you've got a very hands-on, volatile owner who is not going to sit back and go, status quo, that works. I'm comfortable with the way things are. He does like John Tortorella. So that would be a scenario that does make some sense. And given the fact that the team is still largely a veteran-based team, it might make sense from Tort's perspective as well. Beyond that, though, I thought that when things went completely off the rails so quickly in Vancouver with Tortorella, he was done there. I thought that he was going to mold and wear that one forever. And lo and behold, it didn't take that long. Bang, he's back in the league, and he's carried on ever since. So the true thing that I admire about the man, though, is he just goes down swinging every single time. And it's my way or the highway. And I think he has evolved and changed over time in terms of how the game has changed and how you can't play that same style anymore. But in terms of his attitude and his approach with players and all of that, He knows that he's got a shelf life as a coach, and I don't think he loses a second of sleep over it.
Well, you were talking to Sarich the other day about the dress code, and you talk about evolving and changing.
Oh yeah, he was real strict about all that.
Torts was,
you look sharp, you come to the rink all dialed up. I swear the sweater be on the bench. It's like
yeah. Little
Okay.
tracksuit and sweater behind the bench. Things
That's
have
right.
changed.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.